Recognizing the member for Langford, Wanda Fuca.
Thanks very much, Madam Speaker, and it's such a pleasure to be able to rise in this House and respond to my colleague, the MLA for West Vancouver Sea to Sky, and also take an opportunity this morning to be able to recognize Small Business Week here in British Columbia, an opportunity for all of us in this House and British Columbians from every corner of our province to be able to recognize the hard-working small business owners. As my colleague mentioned, over 500,000 small businesses make up 98% of businesses in British Columbia, and also roughly 1 in 10 British Columbians are small business owners or entrepreneurs. I agree with my colleague across the way. Small businesses are the backbone of our economy. In fact, in 2022, small businesses contributed nearly 34% to BC's GDP, the highest in Canada. They also, as my colleague mentioned, employ over 1 million people here in British Columbia and communities throughout the province. And I also want to talk a bit about a couple of things. I want to talk about some small business in my community, but I also want to mention some of the final comments from my colleague across the way around a plan to be able to support businesses. And we have a plan on this side of the House, and that's our Stronger BC Economic Plan, which is delivering for small businesses each and every day. But I want to take a moment to be able to recognize small businesses in my community of Langford, Wanda Fuca, whether it's Brothers Barber Shop, which is located downtown Langford, opened during the pandemic, faced some pretty significant challenges during the pandemic, but has been able to grow into a very successful business to the point where they've been able to give back to their community and annually hold events to be able to donate proceeds that they collect from cutting hair to Cops for Cancer. Or there's Poncho's Coffee Shop, which is just around the corner from Brothers Barber Shop, which is a place where community gathers in Langford. It's a place where people from all different political stripes come for a good cup of coffee and also an opportunity to be able to chat politics and everything else that's going on in the world. Or there's Dumont Tire in Otter Point. I had a chance to be able to engage with Ron Dumont, a strong local business owner in my community who's now in the process of retiring and passing on his family business to his son. But again, a business that has been a centre point in Souk for so many years. Or the 17 Mile Pub, Mr. Speaker, there was a pretty significant highway infrastructure project that had a considerable impact on 17 Mile Pub, but we were able to work with that pub to be able to ensure that it can continue to thrive and prosper, and it continues to do so. There could be Shirley Delicious all the way out in Shirley, which I think a lot of members throughout this province know about, or the Port Renfrew Pub. But I also want to acknowledge that for businesses in Langford, Wanda Fuca, and across the province, as my colleague has acknowledged, are facing some challenges, whether it's a slower global economy, high interest rates, increased costs, labour shortages, also the impacts that the fires and floods and other economic disasters have had on small businesses like the pandemic. And I want to just take a moment and speak directly to small businesses across the province, those in Langford, Wanda Fuca, and every business across the British Columbia. And I want them to know that their government will always be there for them. And I want them to know that we're always going to remain committed to supporting the growth of small businesses across British Columbia. And that's why it's so important for us as MLAs to be able to engage with our local chambers. I've had an opportunity to be able to meet with the West Shore Chamber of Commerce. I'm looking forward to meeting with the new Executive Director of the Souk Chamber of Commerce. And just at UBCM, I had an opportunity to be able to meet with the team at CFIB and talk about the challenges facing businesses, but also the opportunities here in British Columbia. And I'm really proud of the track record that our government has had over the last 7 years in supporting small businesses. During the pandemic, one of the most difficult times for small businesses in its history, the most supports per capita for people and businesses in the entire country was here in British Columbia. And I think that's something that we ought to be proud of. Over $600 million in grants, not loans, we're able to support small businesses, like the Circuit Breaker grant, like the Launch Online and Digital Marketing Bootcamp. But that's not all. The number one challenge that I hear from businesses time and time again is that we have a labour shortage, that we need more people. And so in my community, when we're talking about opening up a new university a year from now, that's going to mean more talent closer to home. But we've also introduced hydro credits, property tax relief, a delivery fee cap for food, talk about trade export supports, and also, as the Minister of Jobs has announced, we will be opening the Securing Small Business Rebate program very soon. We've taken a different approach from governments in the past, and so I just want to end by saying that small businesses are always there for our communities. They're there to support our communities. They're there to invest in our communities, and our government will always be there to support small businesses. Thanks very much.
Thank you, member.